Hey, how you doing? Tony Wasinski, official aerator podcast. Happy Thanksgiving. Here he is. Frankie Burger said he's carrying the bird. He's ready to carve.
Hello.
Are you doing okay? How you feeling?
We're doing all right. I'm here. I got the bird. Going to drizzle some Miller Lite on it. I'm very excited, very thankful this Thanksgiving. Thank you for having me.
I understand there was some big controversy in the Bergasetti household this weekend pertaining to my nephew David and you and how to cook the bird this year. Dave wanted to deep fry it.
He's a foul boy. You know, he was talking about putting a bunch of fragrances on the turkey, wiping it down with a pair of panties, I think they were. But, I just prefer Miller Lite and the bird in the oven. So I had to put David a little bit in check this week.
Yes, and I understand that after this very heated debate about these panties, you guys sat down, had a great tasting, less filling, resolved all debates as every great man should do with a great tasting, less filling. Have a nice cold one with the buddies.
Absolutely. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/redline to find the delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Hey, no. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Thanksgiving. This is Barstool Carl.
And White Sox Dave.
Chief.
Eddie.
And this is Redline Radio and All Gas, No Break Chicago Sports Podcast, brought to you by Barstool Sports Chicago and brought to you by Miller Lite. Thanksgiving holiday is here. We only have one show. We are going to cram a lot into it. I guess off the top, it sounds like Matt Nagy. It sounds like Matt Nagy's out.
That's the rumor.
Do we believe Patch.com?
Well, here,
All respect to Patch.
What did you had the fucking best take about it, Eddie?
I found out that my, the Park Ridge Five Guys was closing from Patch. So, I mean,
I laughed out loud. I laughed out loud. Instant retweet. So funny.
I got no reason to doubt him.
I saw
They're credible. They're credible.
The rumor is Matt Nagy will coach Thanksgiving, but he has been told that he is out as the Bears head coach. This is the first time in the history of Bears they've gotten rid of
102
alleged
years.
Listen, we could all come back and this is a lie, but for purposes of today.
For what it's worth, I've been seeing other people report that this Mark Conkle, who works for Patch, has won a Pulitzer.
Yeah.
So
Pulitzer, isn't it Pulitzer?
Pulitzer.
I thought it was Pull.
I've heard both actually. So
I've always said Poll. Who said? What is Dave saying?
Pew. It's a church
Pulitzer.
pew.
I feel like that's a fancy boy way to say
That's
it.
a reach.
Yeah.
But I think he's actually right. But I'm still going to say Pulitzer. Anyways, so Mark Conkle, maybe he scooped Shefty and they're making a big change. So
Conkle, that's a reporter's name.
Conkle.
Conkle's on the beat.
Mark Conkle.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy. I mean, maybe he does have a legitimate source, but people are really focused in on the Patch.
Yeah.
Well, the guy has to know when he's running it. It's like, all right, I'm the Patch.
For some reason in my head, like, Patch is actually like upstanding journalism. Like, I don't think this guy would just
I like the Patch.
I never like look at it, but I know what it is, and there's just like people grinding away on like stories like yours, where it's just like the local shop is closed, or this is the parade route, and just
Isn't that their
Parade route's a big
tagline?
story. Parade route, the parade news and route is such a
That's
big-
their tagline. I'm pretty sure it's like local, like national news, local taster. It's something like
but
that.
in like
yeah.
every single community has a Patch. Like they all
Yeah,
have it.
exactly, right.
Like I don't know
Right.
how their staff or like how they make money, but their staff has to be like thousands of writers.
Well, our Patch is on it. Mm-hmm. Sounds like we have a little bit of beat. There's shades of 2007 offseason hunting Alfonso Soriano here, where you're just hitting F5 on the computer all day waiting for the refresh.
I will say though, like if Matt Nagy has already been told, if you're him, wouldn't you just be like, I'm just gonna
You can't fire me because I quit.
I'm just gonna like stay home and have Thanksgiving with my family. Like fuck off.
Is it weird that I don't think that's out of the possibility? Like, I think he may resign.
No, he has got to get his contract.
Yeah, but something in like
payout.
Something in that man's face tells me that he's not okay.
Oh, the face that he had after they lost and they were asking him about the chance.
Yeah.
And there was a camera angle that was kind of from below coming up to Nagy. So it was like you were like looking up at Nagy sitting down. And you could see the hollowness in his eyes as the reporter was like, did you hear the chance? And he's like, no. And then they were explaining to him like the chance about firing you. And he's like, we just have to, I'll do anything to win a football game. You could tell the man was like broken, defeated, ready to go home and cry.
All right, breaking as we're talking about this. Matt Nagy is meeting with the media right now, and says Bears head coach Matt Nagy, this is from Kevin Fishbane, Bears head coach Matt Nagy asked about the report that he's been told this will be his last game as head coach. Quote, that is not accurate.
Okay.
So
all right, we have an unequivocal defense from Matt Nagy.
I mean, that doesn't mean a whole lot at this point, I would say.
That's not accurate means you could get fired right now.
that's not accurate, meaning like maybe he hasn't been told. So maybe the guy who scooped Matt Nagy himself, and not to brag, but I knew Carlton was fired before Carlton did. Mm-hmm. So like maybe Conkle actually has something.
I knew you, Darvish, 7 weeks before they even made it. You sometimes the winds of
Now maybe, obviously, most likely this means what everybody else thinks it means, that Patch is probably mistaken of some
could
sort.
Be that could be,
and he's going to ride out this year because let's be honest, nobody in this room really is holding on to the fact that he's going to get fired before the end of the season, right?
No, but I'm entertaining it. I'm entertaining it.
It was refreshing to see.
I'll tell you what, I was mad after Sunday. I was mad Sunday.
Oh, I was laughing, man. I was at the game in a box, no big deal.
Why were you?
And when they took the lead in the fourth, I just started laughing, kind of maniacally, like Walter White when he found out that Skyler gave away all the money to Ted Beneke, and he's in the in the crawl space just laughing. I was just laughing because I knew there was 0.00% chance they were going to win that game.
You weren't.
I wasn't. I'm beyond being mad, man. I'm beyond it.
Yeah,
it was just funny to me.
Dude, the timeout situation, it was beyond anything, man. Beyond anything.
But like, weren't you happy after like an hour?
I was, because I'm happy in the sense of it really turned up the thermostat on getting this guy fired. I mean, you look at what happened at the Bulls game last night. You look at the chants that were happening at Soldier Field on Sunday. People are beyond done with this guy.
Yeah.
Beyond done. So, of course, a good thing came out of it, but in the moment, it was hard not to be mad from my perspective because that's just unacceptable to lose to a quarterback who has 16 pass attempts. Our offense was stuck in mud the whole time. Dalton comes in, we score on 2 plays.
Hold on.
Ravens
real
do not
quick
have a
on
good
that,
defense.
On that, do you know who the quarterback was?
Tyler Huntley.
If I would have asked you guys that before he said it, would you guys have known off the top of your head?
I remember him from Utah.
I forgot his name already.
I
remember at Utah, too.
Utah.
Northwestern beat him in a bowl game, no big deal. But
I saw something about quarterbacks that have emergency started or emergency played, I should say, significant portions under Matt Nagy, put up phenomenal numbers, and the take is like, how bad is this guy at fucking preparing the starter?
It's horrible. 0-4.
But like, if you just pump somebody in there, they do okay, and if he's not filling your head with thoughts throughout the week about the defense and you're the backup just sitting around getting coffee, throwing in a dip, you do fucking great when they put you in there.
And to be clear, that might throw some people off because it's like, well, like it's on the defense to not lose to Tyler Huntley. Yes, the defense did a good job aside from the last drive at the end, but your offense has to be able to generate more points and move the ball better and just put the defense in a better spot. And the offense didn't do that. And it was gross. It was a gross game, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. It was
gross.
What about the players? Jalen Johnson said strongly that there's no more talking. I'm sick of talking. I'm sick of speeches. What are we? Figure out who we are. Why this and that. He had like very explicit quotes that basically out him. Nagy's like, he's out. Allen Robinson's podcast host had like reported sources close to the Bears that multiple players, Chief had blogged about it.
Overwhelming amount was
does that as a fans then give us more like space to be like, we're right, like fuck this cocksucker? Like, does it get us a little bit louder, angrier?
Yes, because I think the one thing that people held on to was that the locker room never turned on him. Remember that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Where it was like as much chaos and as much disarray there was, the locker room was still intact. People still had his back in the media, and that seems to be going out the window. To be honest, I haven't seen a ton publicly, though. Like, there's a lot of hearsay similar to our Patch report. But, I mean, you got to believe there's some truth to that. The players aren't dumb. They obviously know what's going on in the field, and they hear the fans in the stands. So
and it's like everybody in the NFL level is like an expert in football, and they've all played for other coaches. Fields played for Ryan Day. You know, like these guys have played for other more competent coaches. They know what it looks like better than anybody, and I think that eventually they just have to be like, hey, this is not it, and that's where we are.
Yeah.
So.
And then I see people being like, all right, well, this is good, but let's not forget about Ryan Pace.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Pace is gone too. There's no way.
He's as
you don't-
bad as a doornail.
You don't get 3 head coaches. I mean, you just don't.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. You can't.
Ted Phillips.
You can't. Oh, no.
He's safe.
He will not. He's be safe forever.
But it would be nice if they just they audition people to run football operations and just kind of silo it too. So
I agree.
Like
That's what, listen, that's what I said 2 weeks ago. If the Arlington thing's real, it's be like, Ted, had everything there. That's a huge project, huge job, probably an exciting, new, fresh job.
big time.
Why worry about that? Worry about getting the closed Five Guys into, some type of strip mall into that project over there. Don't worry about getting Ernie Accorsi in here for 10 days to interview candidates. That's
This
just
guy's
stupid.
going to get fucking dragged across the coals if he's wrong on Nagy.
You think so?
No.
Oh, dude, he's going to get...
Conkle?
Yeah.
I trust Conkle.
I think Conkle is. I wonder if he's tweeted since then. Mark Conkle, but I don't think Patch is big enough, and it's when that story broke.
This guy's got a Wikipedia page.
Conkle does?
Yeah. Legit Wikipedia page. I mean, obviously he could have written it himself, but this guy's not a joke.
So I look when this came out an hour ago.
Narrated a thing on CNN about Chicago.
This thing came
Pulitzer,
out an
guy.
couple hours ago. He had 4,800 followers. He's got 6,800 now. So there's gonna be a lot of pissed off people. 2,000 followers in one day. I mean, that's half of he just got 50% more followers in a couple hours. A lot of people are going to be pissed off at him, I think.
He has not updated his Twitter, so it is what it is. So it's, I don't know. I don't think
spends his time reporting on violence in Chicago. Sounds like
Nagy also addressed
pretty
here,
legit,
I'm reading,
man.
the chance at his son's football game in Lake Forest. When I'm in the role I'm in, you have to understand where people are coming from and how they react or don't react. I was there to watch my son play a football game. I was there to be a dad. It was a pretty cool time.
He gets it.
Pretty good response, I would
Yeah,
say.
I'd say that's a really good response.
Conkle got fired a couple of years ago from a position for being a bully.
No, really?
Yeah.
I kind of like this guy even more now. What was he
Dave.
bullying?
Colleagues. It's bad. It's bad.
Maybe we can find a spot for him in the Barstool Chicago
Right.
office.
I don't think so. No. Actually, take that back right now because it's bad stuff. Very
Okay,
bad
well,
stuff.
if that's the case, then.
dissociate yourself from Mark Conkle heavily right now.
Disavow.
Well, that's
I disavow.
Dave saying that he loves this guy even more. That goes with the theme of the program here.
Come on.
I mean, I thought it was just a little,
I think we just want to
bullying.
see Matt
Yeah, a
Nagy
little
get
bullying.
fired, which reminds me, listen, hey, guys, holidays are around the corner. It's time to talk a little bit about clothing, stocking stuffers. Maybe it's make a significant other happy. Maybe make yourself happy. Breathe free and easy. Get comfortable. Check out BearBottom Clothing.
I love BearBottom.
Do you?
Yeah, they sent us a box of clothes. I got the joggers. It's now one of my favorite hoodies that I wear, just plain black. It's the one that Dave photoshopped me to make me look 400 pounds in the.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. And but yeah, it's super comfortable. I'm it's one of those pants where it's mine are a khaki color, so I am totally comfortable wearing them out to the bar, and then I come home and don't feel the need to change. It's the perfect any situation all day. Love their joggers. I think that would make a great gift.
Yeah, especially this time of year, people are so conscious about laundry intake. What Chief's talking about here is, wear them on the go, lounge around the house. You guys don't have to be doing a bunch of wardrobe changes.
What
You don't have
else
to be
are
putting up with that
people? What
bullshit.
else are people conscious about this time of year?
I think being
These pants stretch, Carl.
Okay, they're stretch fabric that's made
Right.
to last. Why is stretching
Yeah,
so
so
important?
if you're this is the bulking season, right? So you get let's say you get a large, right? Let's say you get a large, and that's your normal walking around weight. Holiday season, you might bump up to an extra large. You don't need to do that with BearBottom.
Yeah.
They just stretch just enough. They're gonna fit you. Like I said, they're comfortable. They're great. Can't endorse BearBottom enough.
Get the technology, works for you. Everything's built for value. Here's another thing, too. It's that time. Feel good, feel thankful. You can feel good wearing your BearBottom because for each item you purchase, a nutritious school meal is donated to a child in need. If you buy enough BearBottom, BearBottom has agreed to let White Sox Dave serve on the panel that identifies more opportunities to distribute local food in charity stuff. You're part of the charity team, Dave.
I love myself a good charity.
Their Black Friday sale has already started, and it's the biggest yet. You can get up to 25%. Holy fuck. 25% off site-wide by going to BearBottomClothing.com for a limited time. Am I not reading this correctly? I got to say this. For a limited time, Bear Bottom is giving you an incredibly soft tech tee or natural dye tee for free when you spend $150. These are great tees.
Great deal.
So if you spend $150, get a free T-shirt. Black Friday, 25% off.
And
no promo code. Just go to the website.
Would be remiss to
Very soft. Very soft.
not
Thanks,
end
Ed. I don't have a
on that, but we all wear the shit. I don't want to call it shit, but we all wear the Bear Bottom clothes. It's outstanding, just everyday wear.
right
in
now.
every single
Forgot
occasion,
to take
you're
it
good
off
to go.
this morning. That's how comfortable it is.
The T-shirts and the hoodies and the everything about Bear Bottom is awesome. Just trust us on this one.
There you
That's
go.
it. And speaking of bulking season, to add a little salt to wounds, we'll call it. I saw a tweet this morning that said the average Thanksgiving meal, so standard you eat all throughout the day, average American Thanksgiving meal, you're consuming the calories and the grams of fat equivalent to 6 Big Macs.
Saw that too.
Okay.
That I didn't need to hear that though. I know I'm disgusting.
You already knew that.
I knew it, but I didn't need to hear it.
Yeah.
I knew it, but I didn't.
Not
need to
all
hear
calories are
it.
created
And
equal, though.
For a split second, I just saw Aurora Hollywood Casino. Everybody knows I go to the casino every Thanksgiving with my dad, and we usually burn the turkey and don't even really have Thanksgiving dinner. For a split second, I thought it was going to be closed on Thanksgiving. Thank God it's not. It's just the poker room is going to be closed at the beautiful Aurora Hollywood Casino and Barstool Sportsbook.
There you go.
Is anybody excited to watch the game on Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you
I
guys.
still like an 11:30 kick. I
do
still
like
like the
that.
Lions on Thanksgiving. Even if the Bears aren't playing, I'm going to watch that game. I love betting on the Lions every year if the Bears aren't in it. So now it's like a little bit of a toss-up
Are
for
you
me.
guys rooting?
But
I'm rooting.
are you?
I hope the Bears lose.
No, but that's the thing. I don't. I'm conditioned to be like I don't care anymore because losing is good, but there's still something to it. Where like stuff that happens, like the Steelers game wasn't upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks game was.
Yep.
Last week was. And it's just I don't know. Like if they have one of those games, it's gonna piss me off.
Well, it really
It's
should
gonna
have
ruin your
mattered that much.
Thanksgiving.
Andy
No, I
Dalton
mean it's
starting.
past that. It's
Yeah.
past that.
Dalton starting.
Yeah.
That doesn't degrade it to you naturally in a level.
Well, there's just nothing to like be positive about. Like even if they even if they win, it's not like you can be like, oh, well, Fields had like a spectacular play or this happened or that happened. Like everybody's hurt on defense. Fields isn't playing. It's just like I would watch that game and enjoy it regardless of who the Lions were playing. It just happens to be the Bears, so that like I'm just kind of watching it as like they might as well be playing, I don't know, like the Chargers. Like it's just like a game that I'm gonna watch because it's football on Thanksgiving, but I don't like care about the outcome at all.
What's nice too is you can officially move on because the last graphic I saw, the Bears were not on it. They were one of 4 teams who were not on it.
They're out.
So they're done.
Yeah, I mean, it's over.
They're
I
done.
mean, it
Can
was
we?
done before it started.
I know you keep saying like it doesn't matter like the losing
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have the first, but it does kind of matter for the second and the third and the fifth. Like, doesn't that matter?
Fair, but
I mean, the difference between picking 45th and picking 33rd or
Yeah,
something.
no,
or
there's
I
no
know
doubt
that's
about it.
ridiculous, but
like early second round people,
Yeah.
you're getting guys who just slid out of the first, so first round
God,
value,
that's-
first round grades.
I'm reaching. Tell me I'm reaching. It's okay.
No, it's okay. What
It's
are
a
you
reach.
gonna do?
It's a reach. It's like the draft. The draft is a crapshoot anyways, especially when you get down. There's probably that range of players, so I don't really know if it matters if you're picking 35 or you're picking 45. It's like you have a range of guys that you like, and it's like whatever. It's like you're going to be able to find a Mooney or somebody like that in the 4th round all the time if you're good at scouting and drafting. So it's just it is what it is. Like this, we're watching the hourglass sand just kind of trickle out of the season, and we already know the result. There's no stopping it, and we're just waiting for the news to break that Nagy is actually gone.
The timeout situation was, it was all time.
Yeah.
It was all time on the 4th and 1, and then on the PAT. It was all time.
Well, yelling at the guy too.
Yeah, all time bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was all time bad. I'm
Would you have
sorry.
punted? They're like, hey, Tyler Huntley hasn't done shit in his life in the NFL. Just fucking give him the ball on the 5-yard line, 10-yard line.
It's all time bad. It's just all time bad. That's all there really is to it.
Mm-hmm. Do you want
7 more games.
Okay. Do you?
It sucks that the season goes into mid-January now. Like I wish like that it should just be like you click the calendar over to 2022 and you're on to something else. The fact that they have 2 regular season, nothing games.
Giants and the Vikings too.
Fuck.
It's like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna be a toilet bowl.
That's when I want to just pretend to care about college basketball on those Sundays, those Saturdays and Sundays, and just not have to think about the Bears at all. But now you're gonna have to. You're gonna be bundled up watching shitty football.
Why were you in a box?
Goddamn shame.
We
What
were,
does it matter
we
to
were
you?
invited.
I'm asking. Did you go too?
No, I didn't go. I was too
Oh.
tired from hunting.
I was in a box.
Just curious.
I had business deals locked out.
Yeah,
Oh fuck.
he's not lying.
That's all there is to it. I had business deals to lock down, and I did it from a box.
Did you lock it down?
Getting there. Might have a little dinner at Bavette's coming up to,
That-
dot
that-
I's and cross T's.
Also true. I'll see you at Bavette's. I'll be there for that one.
Yep.
Ooh.
Mm.
Get the Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts there are excellent.
That was one of those things we were lied about as a kid.
What?
I love
Brussels
Brussels
sprouts.
sprouts. I mean, it sounds gross. It just sounds like very vegetable-y.
But that it was like the number one vegetable where you're like vegetables are gross. People would always reference Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
They're actually good.
I mean, I don't think our parents, when we were being force-fed them to eat our veggies when we were 8 years old, were just loading them up with butter and cheeses.
They're
and
probably just
seasoning.
steamed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they probably were actually gross, but Brussels sprouts, outstanding side for any
Agreed.
good meal.
Yeah.
Is there a way to do Brussels sprouts for Thanksgiving that's like common? Because everybody has a standard like casseroles and shit, but I don't think I've ever heard Brussels sprouts for Thanksgiving.
It's a standard side in my family.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
A little bacon
We
in there.
never,
Yeah,
we've never
exactly.
done
Mhm.
Brussels sprouts for Thanksgiving.
My mom does it the same way she would do like a green bean casserole.
Mhm.
So a little cheese, a little onion, a little bacon. What are you laughing at?
So Jason Garrett just got canned, and I just saw the Barstool Sports tweet. It's Tommy in Goodfellas walking in to get popped in the back of the head. Jason Garrett when the Giants team flight lands. That's a good one.
Jealous.
But hopefully that Matt Nagy is Tommy in Goodfellas when he thinks he's getting made after Thanksgiving game.
Hmm.
Hypothetic or theoretically speaking, of course.
You're still seeing red.
Figuratively bury him in the cornfield like they
Yeah,
did in
it's
Casino.
figured. That's the word
Yeah.
I was going for.
Yeah.
Figuratively.
There you go.
Am I still seeing red?
Yeah.
Well, according to you guys, no. I was never seeing red.
They lost by 32 last night.
At home.
What happened?
What do you mean? Alex Crusoe had the night off. Wrist contusion. The Pacers shot the lights out. We don't have an inside-out presence. Our depth is thin. Everybody had to move up a couple spots. It was tough, man. Let's talk about Crusoe against fucking Julius Randle, though.
Wait, you're talking about depth?
Whoa. Ed, Alex Caruso and Vooch are out.
Sorry.
Alex
sorry.
Caruso and Vooch are out.
Sorry. On a real note, though, I was happy to see Kobe White play well Sunday.
I also like his haircut. I'll say that too. I
And
feel
his
like
old
he's
hair?
What?
And his old hair?
Yeah, I feel like he's more aerodynamic with this. This is like, hey, I'm a pro now. I'm a professional. I got to have like a pro haircut. I like the haircut. I think he looks good out there.
It's good that Zach's there, and him and Zach are the only holdovers from the Boylan era, because I feel like he really wouldn't have gotten a shot. Like, I feel like Zach has really helped him mesh with,
Could be.
with these new guys and DeRozan and everything. So that's nice to see. It was nice to see them dump some water on his head in celebration.
Yeah.
Had that road win against the Nuggets was pretty fucking impressive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'd like to see it with Jokic and Vooch. That would be good.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, obviously.
I think so.
Yeah.
But the Nuggets will probably lose maybe 10, 11 games at home this year. Around there, maybe. I don't know.
quality win.
Yeah.
They'll take it.
Mm-hmm. They play on Christmas this year?
No.
That's a shame.
That's my favorite NBA day of the year.
They'll play Christmas next year for sure.
Oh yeah,
That's a lock.
Yeah, those Christmas games are like, I remember with the D Rose Bowls, and then slightly thereafter when he was still lingering around and they were pulling ratings with Joe and Taj still like having those Christmas games. That was like your sign, like you're the big boy, you pull.
Yeah.
It's not like how the Cowboys. Well, I guess the Cowboys and the Lions always play. Or their teams. I feel like the Lakers play every Christmas and the Knicks.
Warriors.
Warriors. It's usually like whoever the best teams are.
Yeah.
The Suns have it up this year. I feel like the Celtics play a lot on that. So this year, do you want me to just do the schedule?
Sure.
It's a great slate. If you're an NBA
4 or
fan,
5 games.
Bucks.
What?
Bucks Sixers.
Bucks Celtics. That's the
Okay.
1:30 start. The 11 a.m., which is my favorite big cat bet of the year, which is take the under in that 11 a.m.
It hasn't been hitting though.
Nope, it has.
Really?
No, I don't know if it has or not, but in my head it hits every single year because like that bet just makes sense to me. Like those guys aren't going to be able to shoot; they're not going to be ready to go Christmas morning. But that's Hawks Knicks, so a rematch of that series, which was highly entertaining the first round. Celtics Bucks, Giannis versus probable playoff team. Warriors Suns, so last year's Western Conference champs against one of the best teams in the West. Nets and Lakers for prime time, and then Mavs and Jazz. So that's 5 games, and that's just one of those things where it's like that is on your TV all day long on Christmas Day. So you're
Mavs and Jazz to finish is ugly betting.
if you're chasing responsibly.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
no. I don't want to hear that. Give me like I want Clippers Lakers
I'm usually
late night.
I'm usually
songs.
pretty stuffed. I kind of, and it's like a food coma thing. So that game is just like white noise as I fall asleep on the couch. So I don't really.
Who's our late night NCAA game? And don't we have an Egg Bowl this year? I believe.
There is an
do.
egg bowl.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. I hope we get back next year. Is that you always used to get Thanksgiving weekend was A&M against Texas, and that was one of my favorite games. And with them moving to the SEC, I think that should be back on the schedule. I would hope.
Hopefully, both teams are worth a shit though, because you don't want to watch Texas in any way, shape, or form this year.
No, they're in the automatic bet against category. Yeah.
Yeah, I took them last week, just thinking like, they lost to Kansas, still bounce back. Nope. But do you agree with me though? How big I think they got to keep building Kobe's confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not an automatic trade piece where I think some people were at a couple.
Yeah, I disagree with that wholly. Like they need a shooter. Like, like if they get tied up, they're gonna need to kick it out to someone.
Yeah, he can also give he can give those guys a completely different look as the second team. Where
Yeah.
you can give a couple of these backups, whether it's fucking Brown or it's Green or it's Io, and have like a push pace kind of go out there and maybe run somebody in the ground for a couple minutes and have Kobe lead the way on that.
I was really hoping a little bit that they would stick with him in the end in the last 3 minutes instead of Caruso, just to give him an opportunity against the Knicks, but they didn't. Whatever, you got to pick up wins. I know maybe that's more important, but it sucks the Pacers game wasn't closer. He could have had an opportunity there, but Pacers shot well.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I was flipping around with that game, every time I tuned over to the Bulls, it was like Sabonis was doing something awesome.
Yeah.
Like he's just a guy who like sweeps up rebounds, putbacks. He's a really good player.
He's always working. He's always working at ChevyDriveChicago.com.
Oh, they're always working. You got to go
Always.
over there, ChevyDriveChicago.com. You got to make sure you're letting them take care of everything. It's Thanksgiving. You're to be traveling. So hit it tomorrow. Go tomorrow, Wednesday. Stop at a ChevyDriveChicago.com dealer. Get your brakes checked. Get the tires rotated. Get the oil changed. Make sure you're good to go. You're going to be driving out to Lamont. You're going to be going to Huntley. You know what I mean? Make sure your car's good. You don't want to be on the side of the 90 with the Brussels sprouts.
Dude, this is the perfect time to do that. Just bake it into your commute back, and stop off at a Chevy dealer that you find in Chevy Drive Chicago. Get the brakes done, the oil change, exactly what you said. Also, this is the time of year you're going to start needing to make sure your wiper fluid is loaded up.
Yeah.
Salt's coming
and
on the
just
road.
wipers in general.
Yeah, get good wipers. Like those are the things that like your
Brakes.
Yeah, that
Have you ever tried to stop with shitty brakes in the snow? It's an accident waiting
sucks.
to happen.
But I feel like everybody forgets about the wiper fluid
Yep.
until you absolutely need it, and that salt and ice is just caked on.
Can I say something, Ryan?
Yeah.
I would implore everybody listening who needs a car tune-up to go to ChevyDriveChicago.com. But if you need to go to a car dealership to put wiper fluid in your car, you're a crazy person.
Fair, but like your point with the wipers too.
Yes.
It's just one of those things. You're stopping in, do everything.
Yes.
Get it all done, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be that person that waits to the first snowfall. Then there's going to be long lines. Go to ChevyDriveChicago.com. Now, and get your needs taken care of for your car.
Caruso and Vooch are officially
was-
questionable for tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yep.
You know what's nice, though? You know what I did enjoy? It was fun to be able to flip back and forth from the Hawks and the Bulls.
Yeah, you said you were doing that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wednesday
the
night,
Vancouver game.
Blazers, Kraken. Sunday night, Knicks, Vancouver.
Yep.
They were both. They had a penalty with 2:20 left. What was it?
Yeah.
And then the Bulls were at like two. It was. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
It was,
it's tough. It's one of those two.
You could shame me for having one TV.
Yeah.
I just got my second TV about half an hour ago.
Yeah, I have my other two TVs set up outside.
Yeah.
And it's too
In
cold.
the garage?
Yes, in the
Yeah.
garage. Correct. It's too cold. So, it's nice to be able to flip back and forth, though.
Yeah, they're playing meaningful games because they have to keep winning. Otherwise, trade everyone, cancel the season, all that. So they looked like absolute dog shit for the majority, or for the first two periods against Vancouver and Fleury. And Vancouver is a mess. Like, they have a lot of really good players, but they're a mess. Like, they're talking about firing their GM, like firing their coach. Like, they're maybe almost in a worse position than the Hawks because the Hawks have made those changes. So when they absolutely laid an egg on the road in Vancouver, it was like, what the fuck, the first two periods. And then they got, Brandon Hagel did his thing where he's like, if you're like a casual hockey fan, you should be falling in love with Brandon Hagel. Just works his fucking bag off. Not really a highly regarded prospect at any point in his life. A little bit undersized, skinny, but just tough as nails, fast, works hard. And I saw a scout, I can't remember where I read this, but he's like, yeah, if Brandon Hagel's like work rate ever drops, like he becomes a very average NHL player, which is true. But his work rate never drops. He just works fucking hard. So he went to the net, got the tip-in goal. They go up 1-0, and then it was like watching a different team. Like, they locked it down defensively. I think they only gave up like 2 or 3 shots on goal in the whole entire third period, even though they were shorthanded late. They played great. And, it sucks that they lost Stillman in that game. Gustafson, like, I don't know if you saw that. He, like...
Yeah, he injured him.
He was having a little battle in the corner, and he was retaliating against a guy, and he hit a player in Vancouver, Tyler Mott, former Blackhawk great, right into Stillman's, like, back of his leg, like, rolled up on him. So I think Stillman's going to be out for a little bit. But that was an encouraging third period, and it's a monster game tonight. So the Blackhawks are in Calgary. Calgary's in first place in their division. They've been lights out. I like the Hawks tonight. Similar to the Bulls when they came home off that road trip, and then I guess
the Knicks. They fucking
the Knicks.
buried
So,
the Knicks.
Never mind. Take that out. I forgot the Knicks game was at home. But in hockey, a lot of times if you have Calgary's been on the road for 7 games. This is their first game back, and it's before a vacation. Everybody just kind of lets their guard down. So I could see a situation where the Hawks are like, hey, these guys are ripe. Calgary's a little bit sluggish. They're sleeping in their own bed. They're talking to their wife. They're talking to their girlfriend. They're going out with their buddies after being gone for 3 weeks. Hawks have 1 game before the trip. They know how big it is. I love the Hawks tonight. I've already bet on the Hawks tonight. We also have a boost in the Barstool Sportsbook. Taves to score. He hasn't scored a goal all year. Has not, like Jonathan Taves.
Crazy.
0 goals. He's playing well,
Yeah,
even though he's not scoring. That has to just end at some point. I think that's tonight. So Taves to score plus a Hawks money line win. That's boosted plus 950.
Oh, okay. I was going to say
So-
puck and a half plus 450.
I'm on
So,
that too.
you're on that
so
too.
I have the
Wow.
I'm doing the boost, and I'm doing the Hawks minus 1.5 is plus 440. I think is what I saw at last, but maybe it moved. But yeah, I think this is a night where it's like you can feel pretty good about the Hawks pulling an upset. Calgary's better than them, but it's like this is if they're ever going to beat Calgary.
Chips are falling.
In Calgary, this would be tonight. I think they're ripe. So we'll see how it goes, and if they win, go for a break, and then they're 7-10, and all of a sudden they're 7-10-2. They would have won 6 out of 7. Edmonton's better than them. They got smoked by Edmonton. Like, what are you going to do? But then we talked about the Bears no longer in their graphic. The Hawks would be in the graphic. They're 2, 3, 4 points away from that second wild card spot. So Fleury's playing unbelievable.
Yeah.
He got that new mask, and like ever since he put that mask on, like he can't let a puck in.
That's all he needed.
Spectacular.
8 p.m. puck drop. Get your bets in.
Yeah. So check that out. I genuinely do. Like, I'm on it. I'm genuinely into the Hawks tonight.
Can I ask you a dumb hockey question?
Always. I love
Okay.
those questions.
So the Hagel redirect.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing?
What do you mean?
Redirects. Like what? Like it feels like, logically speaking. Listen, I know though. Like I understand. It clearly works and it's clearly
Yeah.
a large part of the game. But it seems like something to it is like what if you block your own fucking shot?
So those pucks that puck was probably going 85 miles an hour. That point
it's
shot.
like such a
So it's hard. It's almost harder to just stop it in midair and have it drop than it is to just get a little nick of it and change the direction.
Yeah.
So that's all you're really trying to do. You're trying to be in front of the net, take the goalie's eyes away. So you're screening him so he doesn't have a great look at it. And if I'm throwing a ping pong ball at you, okay, or a tennis ball, you'll catch it all day long. Dave gets a finger on it right before you're about to catch it, and you just got to adjust real quick.
Yeah.
And
makes it all more difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do. It's almost like catching a foul tip in baseball.
Exactly.
Like,
That's
it's
the
very,
exact analogy
for a
I was
catcher.
just-
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like very, very difficult.
Felt like a good dumb question though.
Fair question. I love dumb questions. Grow the game.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like. Has there ever been many cases where it just blocked it though?
I'm
Or
sure.
can it like skip above the net?
all the time.
Yeah.
It's still increases
a better
the
percentage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then because if it's just like a straight especially a shot from the blue line, if the goalie can see it, every single goal. I don't care if it's going 105 miles an hour. If you take a shot from the goal from the blue line, and the goalie can track it the whole way, every single NHL goalie should stop every single one of those pucks. And so you should be going to the net, trying to make it so he's looking around you so he doesn't have eyes on it. And then if you can get that puck to change directions, slow, even if, it causes a rebound and he's sliding one way and it's going the other way, like you want to create chaos in front of the net as much as possible. It's something the Hawks need to, quite frankly, do a better job of they always call it, net front presence. Mm-hmm. Hagel goes to the net and he gets rewarded with goals. And they need more of that I think I'd love to see Doc camp out there a little bit more. Kubalik's become basically a perimeter player. They need more guys going to the net, creating chaos, and getting those, they call them garbage goals. Like, how hungry are you? Just go to the front of the net, clean up the garbage, put it in, let's get on the board. And when they do that, and they're a team that doesn't have like a ton of skill throughout their entire lineup, so they need ugly goals, and they need to do a better job of getting to the net for just those types of plays.
Okay.
So it's a good question, actually.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
White Sox Dave looked at me like it was a dumb question. He's above dumb questions, I guess.
Well, I mean, Ed, it's very self-explanatory. You don't have to have any hockey acumen whatsoever to understand why.
Yeah, but maybe some people don't know.
I mean,
But like if I told you that, if I explained it with the point shot, where every single goalie should stop every single shot coming from there, with no net front presence or tips or screens.
Say that again.
What about Wayne Gretzky?
What about him?
Same thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. But if you have a guy shooting 105 miles per hour from the blue line, so 80 feet, right?
Yeah.
Every single goalie in the NHL will stop 99.999% of those. So like that's why you're trying to, because he's like, doesn't it lower your odds, or can't you kick it wide or over? And
I'm on your side. I get that.
Yeah. So
like,
that's
I
all
think
I was
if
saying.
you shot a puck 105 miles an hour at me from 80 feet away, and it's just me, it's one-on-one, and I'm playing goalie, I think I would stop most of them.
I don't think so.
I mean, I do. It's
Well,
80 feet is so fucking far.
You can't move your feet well enough to, like, I don't think you appreciate how hard it is for those goalies to stop, because I don't think I could do it on skates. If you put you on skates and goalies shooting at you 105 or someone's shooting at you from 105 miles an hour.
I mean, I'm thinking of it. I was 3 months ago facing near 100 from 55 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was making contact. Obviously, two different sports, but I know what 100 miles an hour looks like.
I'm not doubting that. I think if you add the element of ice to it and equipment that you're not used to,
sure.
But if you put, I think if you're White Sox,
but
Dave,
the
and
point
catcher's
is,
gear and you have your
but
feet,
if someone's in there and they're redirecting it, no one really stands a chance.
Yeah, it makes
nobody has those kind of reflex. You'd have to
some guys
basically
do.
get
like
lucky.
if you watch Fleury, he makes an ungodly.
Now
amount.
here's a question going off of that.
Mm-hmm.
Can goalies kind of read redirects, like anticipate them? Like, okay, he's sitting there, I can see where he's moving his stick. If he gets nick of the
you
puck,
can't cheat.
You can't cheat on it.
Yeah, because it's still actually hard to get a stick on those.
Yeah,
it's not like you're standing in the batter's box trying to lay a bunt down either.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you're battling with a defenseman, like he's trying to lift your stick or keep your stick down, and so if a goalie to anticipate a deflection is nearly impossible, because if you are cheating, then it doesn't get tipped, then it's just going wired to the back of the net. You have to have shot integrity and have your fundamentals about you. But the reason that you position yourself that way, I almost wish Scott was here to explain it, because he could do a better job of it than me. Where you want to be square, you want to be low.
Does he know?
Yeah, I don't know. Made a couple $1 million playing goal in the NHL.
Yeah.
But like,
Okay.
but
Fair.
like you want it, like then that's why you want to go down, because you want to take away the lower half of the net, because you can reach up and you want to take away as much of the net as possible without having to move that much.
Now goalies, I'm assuming they also work ground up.
Yeah, that's they call it the butterfly in hockey, like where you kind of you go down, you have to time, when you do that, because goalies do get caught cheating on that if they go
Right.
down too early, and it's just like a regular
Exposes-
shot whoosh, right
yeah,
upstairs, like
right.
everybody's too
Yep.
good. So you do have to time it, and that's why you're seeing this trend of goalies just getting bigger and bigger. Like Vasilevsky's 6'6",
I mean,
Bob
Scott's
is-
huge.
Scott's 6'6", like yeah. So you got to take away a lot of the net.
Why don't they just put a sumo wrestler in there?
Like that one commercial where they have a literal walrus in net.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a Geico commercial. Yeah, I mean, you still have to be able to move side to side and things like that.
Just get someone bigger than the net.
I just don't think that that's plausible, because I also think that if that goal, like, he still has to wear skates.
Does he have to?
Yes, you have to. Like, there is regulated equipment.
Just have him sit there like crisscross applesauce, like Ed says.
I love the who is that kid? I'm blanking on his name. Who watched hockey for the first time and he was a Blues fan.
Oh, the St. Louis kid.
Yeah, Solar City or something.
Yeah,
and
he
he's
was
like
so funny.
He's like, this is my first time. He's like, I don't get it. Why don't they just put everybody in front of the net? Which kind of makes sense to me. Like,
Yeah, but like I do think it
got caught by Black Twitter, right?
Yeah,
And
it
it was
was
like,
very
yeah,
funny.
it was very funny. I remember
that was during the Blues Blackhawks
Yes, yes.
2016
Yeah.
playoff series. And,
like,
and he was like, "Who is this Patrick Kane? Like, how do we stop this guy?"
I don't get it. Why don't they put all 5 guys in front of the net? Like,
Well, and it's like you do kind of see that in like desperation times where guys are sliding around. Like they call it, like, you have the house, right? Like, and it's from the dots across, and then you almost like a home plate to the front of the net, and like you're protecting the house, and it's like a shape of a home plate from the goal, from the net out and then across.
Yeah.
If you can visualize that. And like that is like you're protecting the house. You don't want anything going on in there. And when it's real desperate times, you're killing a penalty, late game situations, you'll see guys that come in real tight trying to be able to block a lot of Cal Dahan type plays where you're just blocking shots and eating pucks and hoping that it hits you so you can clear it out. So like that happened. That does actually happen, but like it's just not. It's untenable to do the entire game.
yeah.
You do it like 20 seconds at a time.
Not a half circle. It's a house instead.
Yeah, it's a house. Yeah.
Well, from one maybe unknown strategy to a proven tactic that works, I want to talk a little bit about going to Hooters and hanging out.
We did that last week or 2 weeks ago, was it?
It's our go-to spot for killer wings and ice cold beer. And football season means all the big games on the big screens. And it's the only place that has world-famous Hooters Girls.
How were they, Dave? Everything you've ever imagined?
Yeah.
Nice
Hooters
ladies.
girls were lovely.
They
We
love
took a few
football
pics
just
together.
as much as you.
That is true. Those guys I would wager every cent to my name that the Hooters girls could run an offense better than Matt Nagy could.
Sure. And they're better looking than your friends.
That is also true.
Certainly better looking than my friends.
Yeah.
They've got game day specials to keep you hydrated and filled up on your Hooters favorites all season long. Whether they can run Matt Nagy's offense or just run some great fucking service 1 to 4 p.m. while you're catching the witching hour and into the early afternoon games. I mean, this is really the experience we're talking about. Also, if you can't make it to Hooters, though, still get your fix at home. Save $10 with code Barstool when you order online. Promo code Barstool. Order online, save $10. Check out Hooters.com/Barstool for details.
Hey, I think there's still probably some Thanksgivings or Friendsgivings tonight and tomorrow. You know, hey, nobody's going to be mad at you if you bring some Hooters wings.
Who's turning their nose up at wings?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hit up Hooters. It's a great deal. Hooters.com/Barstool. Enter code Barstool. Save $10. Bring it to your Friendsgiving.
That's a free 10 spot of wings right
It's
there.
a nice wrinkle.
Yeah, honestly, and it had been a while since I had been to a Hooters. The vibes were good in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I had a really, like I would, if you guys want to circle up and go back, I'm in for that.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a really good time there. All the TVs, all the games, it was great.
Great beer.
Yep, the wings.
Great wings.
Wings are
Friendly
good.
waitresses. It's a great spot.
Camaraderie. Go to Hooters. Okay. Poultry. From Hooters to Thanksgiving birds to ducks to duck hunting. There's a lot of people that have tuned into this podcast today hoping to get a firsthand account of what it's like to go hunting with Chief and what it's like to go hunting with White Sox Dave. We have those two with us today in studio. Special edition Redline Radio.
I'll start, or do you want to start?
Go ahead.
So I don't even want to say since Sydnie Wells got hired by Barstool, but Ryan and I have had a conversation, a handful of times over the year. Could you go hunting and kill an animal? And I always said no.
Yep.
I'm like, I couldn't kill a deer. Like, it's a fucking beautiful animal. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like mammals have feelings, and that's kind of where I draw the line at killing something.
Those little doe eyes.
Like, they have their family animals, like mammals in general, family.
All right, can I stop you there? Because I learned a fact.
Do it.
I learned a fact from going down there this weekend about the rut, where so the rut is like mating season.
Yes.
Okay. Apparently, the male deers just rape all the females.
That's exactly what they do.
So
they're
savages.
savages.
So when I was like talking to Sydnie and her dad, they're like, oh yeah, like, well, the does are really more afraid of the males than they are of you. I'm like, they're hiding from the males. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, it's the rut. I'm like, I still don't get it. And they're like, you don't understand. Like, the way that deers mate is like a violent thing. And it's like, what? Like, so that honestly, like, made me like, fuck these guys. Like, I'll take down a buck. They're savages.
I don't know. We're
when
on the
their
way
neck
down there.
swells like that, they're in a rut. And they got big ass necks.
I didn't
How
know
did you
that
know
either.
that?
He went to Southern.
Bro, I went to Southern.
So
I'm
you're
not
probably
fucking around.
it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of buddies who were into this shit.
So did
And
I. in
Eddie
college.
remembers everything he's ever heard, which is actually true. So, like, if you had a buddy from Southern who was talking about the rut one time, he didn't think you were listening. Eddie was fucking listening,
Yeah.
guys.
I mean, we used to drive through, like there's wooded area, where you're driving through, and you'd see it, and he would just constantly, look at that fucking neck on that, and it was just something.
Yeah, you're
that
driving
stuck
home
with me.
probably this time of year.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Look at
Yeah.
the fucking neck on that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was the other thing. They said that we were driving out to this one piece of property, and the dad like stops over. I don't think you were in the car with us at this point, but he's like, look at this telephone pole. He's like the power, or is it electric? I can't remember what kind.
I wasn't
like
in the car for
a big
this.
telephone pole, and you could see like the bottom of the telephone pole had been like shaved down. And he's like, do you know what that is? I'm like, no. And he's like, that is basically the deer. The male deer will take their antlers and like scrape them up against telephone poles, like those wooden ones, and like take them almost to the point where it looks like they're gonna tip over. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Sharpening their antlers? And he's like, no, like they're strengthening their neck muscles, getting ready to duel, because the males like fight each other all the time for females, and it's like, so they actually like the deer will train. Like they're like training, getting ready for the rut, because they're going to have to like battle the other males for the right to rape the other females. Deer are fucking savages.
Yeah, if you don't want to run into like a male during that
Dude,
season.
Ed, I'm not kidding. So we'll get there in a second. So on the way down there, it's about 4 hours south of here. It's a little, I don't know, I think it was like 30 miles west of Peoria, to give people a visualization of where we were. I didn't have any cell phone service, nothing. So it was like the entire week or so leading up to it, I'm like, I don't think I could pull the trigger. And Sydnie and her dad's like mega famous in the hunting world. Sydnie's like, you don't have to shoot anything you don't want to shoot. Like, we'll take care of all that. Like, we're going to make you guys super comfortable as first-time hunters. But, like, Ryan and I talked about it, Chief and I talked about it, where on the way it kind of flipped a little bit, where you kind of got a little more nervous to pull a trigger, and I was, like, starting to get a little bloodthirsty. So we get there on Thursday night, and we got there late, like 9 p.m. So we're waking up early to like do all the video shit in the morning. Then we were gonna hunt in the afternoon. So we split up in two separate camps. I'm with her brother, who's 22, played baseball at ISU.
Great guy,
great kid. And Chief is with Sydnie and her dad, right? You were with him too.
He was hunting near us, but he dropped us off to a different tree
stand.
stand.
So we were in different camps. So we were all spread out miles apart from each other. And so first day that we're hunting, it's the afternoon on Friday. They had built a blind on the ground level with corn stalks. So you're hiding like in the corn. And as soon as we fucking sat down, about, I would say 70 yards out or so, across this like little field that's surrounded by a tree line, we're like putting the camera, we're mounting the camera, we're getting the like gun holder things up and everything. I look up and there's a fucking buck staring right at us. and he spotted us. He saw us there, and we were being as ginger and walking like ninjas and being as quiet as possible. And I swear to God, that buck, he looked at us and he basically said, without saying it, he's like, "Fuck you guys, I'm out of here." Because he and you could hear him like fucking growling and shit, like way off in the distance.
Yep.
And like I made eye contact with him for maybe a quarter of a second, and he was just like, "Fuck you guys."
Mm-hmm.
It was wild. So like as soon as I saw that, and that was immediately when we got there. We were there for like 3.5, 4 hours. Didn't see anything, but you could, since you're in the wilderness, like Ryan Hartman said to Chief on Twitter, your eyes and ears are just firing on all cylinders. You hear all sorts of shit. You're being as quiet and as still as can be, and you'll hear like a squirrel, like, I don't know, close enough to hear it, and it'll just be snapping twigs and shit, and you're like, is that a deer? So grab your gun, and you're like, if that deer pops out, I'm going to blow its head off. And so the first night we didn't see another deer until it was almost dark, and there's hunting hours. It's 30 minutes after the Weather Service's official sunset time. So the exact minute that you have to stop pulling the trigger for safety reasons is 30 minutes after sunset. So it was 5:09, and Sydney's dad texted her son Clint, "Hey, you got 2 does in the field out there." So we had literally like 3 minutes to pull a trigger, otherwise it'd be illegal to keep hunting until sunlight the next day. And we see the 2 does. They're like 100, maybe a little more out from us, and we literally started chasing after them. They got away, obviously. But we're like sprinting through the field with fucking loaded guns trying to kill these deers because we had no other choice. But it was – I cannot wait to go back.
Yeah, so, and that's how I felt too. So I was very
go
nervous like once we actually got into the tree on night 1, and we barely saw anything. We saw a buck chasing a doe, but like way out of range and like only for a second. And that was kind of similar thing like towards the end of the allotted period. When I woke up, I was like,
let's do it,
ready to go.
Yeah.
And like we got into the tree stand the next day. I think we woke up at 4:40, coffee at 4:50, in the stand by 5:15, something like that. And still dark, like still like pitch black.
Yeah.
And so you're in the stand, you're it's quiet, it's like this. And I hear like steps coming. I was like, oh fuck, here we go. And it was coming because they have like these deer paths, like so they walk like the same trails like over and over. And she said like they'll probably come this way, and if something was coming this way, and I don't think it would have been legal to shoot at that exact time now that I think of it, but I like was getting ready, and it was raccoon. so it was just like I never saw a goddamn thing, and but it was still awesome, and it was like it's weird to be like so focused and you're like looking at nothing, but like every little thing could be something. So you're
and you
like,
don't hear any unnatural
focused.
So like no cars.
Yeah.
You don't hear anything like that.
And you guys did no bows?
We shot bows. We
We
like
didn't go bow hunting.
yeah, but I think like I'm still not like super comfortable with the gun. Like especially like Dave, you say you don't even remember this, but we were practicing. We were on video shooting clay pigeons, which I stink at. But there was one point that Dave dropped something and walked like almost in front of my gun that was loaded there, and like got very startled. And Clint and Sydney were like, all right, well, like it's good that we like learned this lesson now. Like you have to be, gun safety, blah blah blah. But it doesn't. I'm not like. And they did.
Wait, what do
say,
you mean something moved in front of you?
Dave dropped something.
I don't remember this interaction.
Yeah. Dave dropped something and started because we were all like spaced out maybe like 5 yards apart at this point. And Dave like started moving over towards like my line of sight.
They say to like keep your gun focused between 11 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you don't like wave it around. You just
Dave was inching towards 11, and they're like, whoa, stop. And so like that made me nervous. The idea of like blowing off Dave's arm.
Yeah, it's a weird
Can you
feeling.
imagine me not having a right arm, Ed? This thing's a moneymaker for me.
Right. But the next day,
Wouldn't hate it.
Yeah. I mean, just you never have to throw slower than 91 ever again. You just walk off.
Nah,
on
dude,
top.
it's a weird thing when you
Yeah.
like the first time I did it, I was like, holy fuck, like.
Yeah.
This is a killing
If,
machine.
yes, like if you just turned over, like you could fucking shoot someone.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that
Yeah.
sounds very stupid, and
Yeah.
like, of course, duh.
Right.
But I don't know. Something really struck me when I
But
realized.
there was also like
you know, it was weird.
Yeah, it's like standing on a ledge or something. You're like, dude, you could just jump off this ledge and fall forever. Like, I think that the decision or how readily available that decision is can like freak
Yes.
people out.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
And Sydney's dad gave us like this big speech at breakfast the first day, being like, "Look at that! You have to be so careful. Like that gun will go off when it feels like going off. So like it can just accidentally, you bump something, you hit something, safety on, doesn't matter. Like you just have to pretend as if like the safety is always off and it's always loaded and the trigger's always a slick trigger, and like so you just have to be that careful, which is why I think I'm going to try bow hunting next time. I felt like more comfortable in my hands, and I was decent with it. Like I think I'm going to practice that and try to do that.
And I think bow obviously is known. It's like that's more challenging, and
It's
then the
more
season's
yeah,
longer.
for
and
sure.
Yeah,
bow hunting is more
yeah.
of a thing.
I
from what I understand, I'm not an expert.
More
we
in tune
gotta-
with nature.
Well, and like they said, like they have a gun season, and the gun
Yeah.
seasons are very short.
Yeah.
So
I love the people making the Dick Cheney jokes at White Sox Day.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was to be expected.
Did you?
But
What about
here's
the
thing.
Photoshop jokes?
Yeah,
That one.
well,
That
We'll
seemed
get to the
unreal.
Photoshop jokes in a minute, but
Wait,
so
before we do though, we should talk about innovative.
Yeah, because we're
care.
losing focus
For
here, and
sure.
I know there's people out there that struggle with this stuff. ADHD medication can be a pain in the ass to get. That's why I want to tell you about our good friends at innovativeadd.com. It's a real clinic, not the online phony jabroni stuff. If you're a resident of Illinois, this applies to you. Must be a resident of Illinois. They take insurance. It's a very easy process. You go online, get registered. You basically go one appointment. From there on out, it's very easy to manage your ADHD medication online. All you have to do is go to innovativeadd.com. We talk a lot about these guys. Everybody seems to like them.
Yeah, after your initial appointment, you can see your provider virtually through telemedicine, which is nice and convenient. You sit at home, just take your call like that. They got good providers too. They're very compassionate, very kind. They remove the frustration from ADHD management. It's actually easy to get appointments and refills with Innovative ADHD. So make sure you're checking them out if you need to re-up your ADD medicine.
Yeah. Check them out. InnovativeADD.com.
innovativeadd.com. And on that note, if I
You should have been focused with that
Yeah.
fucking
I
rifle
could've.
in your hands.
I could have.
Should we go visit before our next trip?
I think we might have to.
Yeah.
I think we might have to because day
This
two.
gun's awesome. I never knew how much I liked this gun.
Day 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a tree stand. About 30 feet up, just chilling on a tree. 30 minutes into the morning hunt. It's
It's daybreak.
it's
I think it was a little
dusk.
longer than that. Actually.
It might have been about an hour, but it
Yeah.
started getting light out.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw one deer, and the deer was to my right about 25, 30 yards, and it was a fucking baby deer. It was a doe. And he goes, if you get a shot on that thing, kill it. I'm like, that thing's like small. That's like the size of my fucking dog. It was small. And he's like, all right, well, I mean, there's no limit on doe. It's 3 doe to every buck out there. So doe, they just like kill them, get them. So you could hear that fucking little doe, I'm guessing 60 pounds maybe, had deer with it. But they didn't come onto the fucking path that I had a shot at. And then the deer like scampered off into the woods, so I didn't get a shot at it. 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, whatever time it was, I'm sitting there. I'm not getting bored, but I'm like, all right, deer, come on, let's go. Let's do this thing. Let's
Walk
let's
into my
tango.
killing path. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I look to my left where we had walked up from, and I see a fucking monster doe. And so I give the nudge. And then I guess when you're hunting, they're like, if you think you're moving slow when you're hunting, like move slower because you're moving too fast. So I grabbed the gun. I had it loaded already, and I like inch it up to my face. And I'm holding it there for a solid 5 minutes. And it's at my 9 o'clock, and I had armrests on my tree stand, so I couldn't really crank my whole body, and I couldn't stand up to shoot it because I would have made too much noise and would have ran off. So there's a bunch of branches and shit, because if it would have been right in front of me, like between 11 and 2 o'clock, I would have had a wide open shot. I had about this big of a window for the deer to walk in that there was no branches.
Podcast though. So how big is the window? You said this big.
Oh, like 5-6 inches, like the size of a plate, like a dinner plate.
Yep.
You know, not too big. And she walked in front of it. I have her lined up, and because Chief stunk at fucking clay pigeon shooting, he had the gun with the scope. I'm just using iron sights.
Not true.
That is true.
That's not why you had that gun.
I thought that's what Sydney said.
No,
I thought Sydney's like
the rifles. We weren't shooting the shotguns. Like I was good with both rifles.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't have a gun with a scope on it, and I have her lined up, and I'm like, my heart is fucking, it's beating pretty hard, and pulled the trigger. Nothing. About 5 seconds go by, and I'm like, she was like, there's no way I didn't hit her. There's no way I didn't hit her. She's like out on her feet like a boxer who just took a haymaker. She's about to drop. She flinched when she heard the noise and just continued on grazing. So I'm like, give me another slug. Give me another slug. He forgot the slugs in the fucking car.
Whoops.
So I'm like, give me that fucking bow. Give me that fucking bow. So he hands me the bow, but there was just absolutely no way I could have got an arrow. And it turns out, anyways, I stunk at bow shooting anyways.
And yeah, we hadn't even practiced with a bow at that point.
I hadn't even practiced.
You were
like,
just had bloodlust.
I
Like,
had
give
bloodlust.
me another tool to murder this thing.
So we get out of the tree stand, and the deer takes off, and I blew my shot at. I'm not kidding when I say this, and this is like not part of the bloodlust storyline. I'm legit still pissed about it that I missed the deer.
Yeah.
I'm
And you said
legit.
it was
Like it was
small?
the first thing No, this
was a big one.
He said only 120. There is no fucking chance that thing weighed less than I do, and I'm a little over 200 pounds. I'm like 210 pounds.
I think he'd know.
I sure,
yeah.
but this doe was huge. It was fucking huge. And granted, they don't have like meat on their legs. It's just like skin and bone. It's all their meat is in their like torso body. That doe is fucking huge. So she got the better of me. I will be back though. 2 weeks.
They're
ago,
fucking great at hiding.
They are.
They're unbelievable.
They're
at
super
hiding.
smart. Their fucking ears are unbelievable.
I mean, you're
They
telling
hear
me
everything.
you two. It's so funny.
Well, they said they have this big property. I'm like, how many deer do you think are on your property? And they go, oh, geez, I don't know, hundreds. Well, for me to be out in the stand for hours and hours over 2 days and see 2 deer that were way far away, I think they're pretty fucking good at hiding. If there's hundreds in that area,
Yeah.
and I saw 2 while they're in the rut, like chasing each other, trying to fuck, that is like they're like professional, unbelievable hiders. I don't know how anybody gets a deer.
But I can't wait to go again.
Would you guys say you're hunters now?
I'm gonna be.
I've participated in hunting. I've hunted, but I don't
Well,
think I
this
can
movie-
say.
I
Closer to
appreciate
owning
your
a
response.
ranch,
So-
or are you guys being ranch hands together?
Well, our good friend Scott Darling is
That's true.
looking at a place in
Well,
Montana
that's the other
right
thing.
now.
So
Yes,
the reception without of as much as more than a few little social clip teasers being put out has been awesome.
yep.
And I got DMs from people in like Texas and Missouri and Arkansas, and they're pictures of like, hey, you guys are welcome to come hunt down here anytime you want. Just these unbelievable properties.
I found out my cousin who lives in New Hampshire. I didn't even know he hunted. He's actually like my mom's cousin. He's like a second cousin. He has not stopped texting me. When he comes,
He's excited, yeah.
Yeah, like he's like he wants like another hunting buddy. He's sending me pictures of like while we were out, he was hunting wild boar, which they have up in New Hampshire apparently. Sending me this morning, sending me shots of like the big bucks he got in his property. So I think, and he's got like his place out there.
It looked unbelievable.
It's like
unbelievable.
His place is on a lake. He's got like I can't remember exactly how many acres he has, but he said he has 15 tree stands on his property. And then in the winter, he builds like this immaculate outdoor hockey rink. Place is spectacular.
It looked unbelievable.
So
yeah.
let's go in January.
So I would absolutely do that for content or otherwise.
Yep.
Like the thrill of hunting was nothing like I've ever experienced before, and I didn't even kill anything.
It reminded me.
I can't wait to go again. I had so much fun.
Same. And I would say that the only like thing that I could compare it to is if you're like skiing alone in like a beautiful place. So where it's like you have the adrenaline rush from going fast, but you're like in nature and it's quiet and and like just gorgeous landscape. It reminded me like that contrast of like the adrenaline with like the peace and calm was like that, but they're also at the same time like very different. So I'm excited to get back out there too.
Is there like a nickname for a skier?
Like ski, like snow ski.
You know what I mean? Like I'll hunt. Like this guy's a hunter. Like, you're just a skier.
I think there probably is some
Ski
slang.
head or
I'm not
something?
I'm not ski head.
Oh,
so
like
I-
a fucking like
Like
a
someone
lift.
who's like, yeah, like I worked with a guy who had a winter pass in Colorado. And
Yeah.
he lived in Chicago.
a real
It was
powder
crazy.
junkie, huh?
Yeah, it was crazy to me. But like he got out, like he's like, oh, like if you go like X many times.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, like those passes that when you buy the season pass, like they're about the same as a day pass.
yeah.
So you just ski like unlimited. Like it's almost worth it even if you're gonna go once or twice, just to buy the season pass because it's like that good of a deal, and you can usually ski like anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've never gone. I don't even really care to. I'd do it.
I think
but
you'd like it actually. Dave.
I'm sure I would.
Yeah.
But
What about ski shooting? Or you guys?
I'm
could do that.
Chris
You guys
Kyle.
Could be,
He-
I'm Chris Kyle.
I hate to say when Dave's good at things, he's like the best clay pigeon shooter of all time.
That shit's so hard. Have you ever done it?
I am.
no,
I said I hit
no.
about. I think it was about 15 to 20, and he's like, he said it was better than
I
that.
think like once you got going, so if you throw out like the first 5 or 6 when you're like learning how to like handle the gun and do it and shoot it, after that point, I think you hit like 90%.
Dave has always been able to lead a receiver comfortably. So
I just kind of.
you just see that.
It just clicked immediately for me, and I just knew how to do it.
You were
Like, I didn't miss. I
They
couldn't
were
miss.
Sydney.
That's what it's so ironic about me fucking whiffing on. It wasn't even a moving deer. It's just sitting there eating grass.
Well, it's also the rifle versus the 12 gauge too.
Well, no, we were using 20 gauges both times.
Dave has a good body to absorb the kickback.
So we were using a
You know,
20
you
gauge the
just
first
fucking
time. I'm
low center
1,000%
gravity.
positive on this. And we were using buckshot with that, and then for the hunting we were using because you don't want to. We were using slugs, which are
Right.
like giant bullets for the actual hunting, which you don't shoot trap with.
Right.
So you want it to spray a little bit.
Right.
The slugs don't do that.
We're saying the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it should be because of the spray, your accuracy matters less.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that note, I have been introduced to hunting Twitter. It's as bad as any Twitter out there.
Oh yeah.
really?
Just yeah.
Why?
Like,
Like,
oh,
you
you
know
don't
how there's
shoot those. Yeah. Like,
Barbecue Twitter.
Yeah.
Like if you cook a fucking brisket, it's like, oh, there's no fucking smoke ring. What the fuck is that shit? You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Hunting Twitter's just as bad. It's like, what the first of all, it's very, very, very clear that Chief and I have never fucking hunted anything in our lives. And that was kind of like
That was the point.
angle and
Yeah.
point we were trying to, push. And they're like, there's no, like, I was using a 20 gauge with slugs to hunt. I don't, like, apparently that's not an easy gun to hunt with, but at the same time, like, it's
they said that
very,
too.
very
Common.
common to use when hunting. So people are like, oh, you don't even, you don't shoot does, or if you only shoot does, you're a pussy. Like, you got to go for the bucks only, and you got to use a bow. Like, if you have a rifle, you're an idiot. Like, it's just a bunch of people, like, critiquing it. First of all, we're with Tim Wells, who is wildly famous in the hunting world. Like, wildly famous. One of the most well-known hunters on the planet. I'm pretty sure he was equipping us with appropriate weapons to kill animals with. So shut the fuck up. But it was just annoying to me. Like, that's why I was commenting in the comment section today,
Yeah.
because I'm just sick of all these hunting experts, like, coaching me. It's like, dude, I had a better coach than what you could coach me in. So shut up.
And that, I feel like it's just so annoying because it's like all like the niche things. So like, wouldn't you want, like, because hockey is like that. Hockey Twitter is the worst too. Like, that's why when people say, like, Ed, can I ask a dumb question? I'd never jump down anybody's throat because I don't want to just like turn off new people trying to learn things. Like,
oh, you idiot.
right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand why barbecue Twitter, like you said, barbecue, hunting Twitter, all like the niche Twitter categories, they're like, I want more people involved, but as soon as like a new person gets involved, they shit down their throat for like the smallest thing. It's like,
Exactly.
what the fuck is your problem?
So, it was a ton of fun. I can't wait to go again. I do want to shout out Jack, the Patterdale Terrier.
Awesome dog.
He's a little sausage link of a dog. And the Wells family. They were great.
Yep.
You're saying that though. Would you have shot the doe that was the size of a dog? You were going to.
He told me to, so I would have, yeah.
So,
But if it was just me up there, which it obviously wouldn't have been because that would have been illegal, I would have let that one walk. But he's like, yeah, shoot that.
so do you think you'd kill a dog?
A dog?
Yeah.
No.
I'm just wondering.
Would you kill a coyote?
He said he was worried about having feelings in mammals. I think it's a slippery slope for my guy Dave.
I do think
Dog lover Dave. I think he
Yeah.
might be killing dogs soon.
I will still say that I think it would, even though I would do
He
it,
would have done this to me. That's why I'm doing this.
watching it die, I think would still be hard. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it, but I'm like prepared to be like, oh fuck, like
Yeah,
a little bit of
definitely,
guilt about
definitely.
Well, glad you guys had a good trip. The drive time, what, 3.5 hours?
About
it.
4.
Yeah, I think 3.5 there, 4 back because of
Mhm.
traffic. But yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, 2
Nice,
weeks
more
from now,
coming.
hopefully we bag one. It'll be a good video if you do. Really good video. That's only bad thing about this is you're at the mercy of
the deer.
nature. Yeah. So, but I loved it. I can't wait. I already told Chief today. I'm like, that's gonna be my gift to myself right after the New Year's. I'm gonna get a gun and get all officially licensed and everything, so I can do it the right way. And I like if anybody's listening in like Texas, you want to go hunt like fucking gazelles in Africa, I'm in. I'm in.
I hope so. It's tough though, man. It's tough living in Chicago, being committed to hunting.
Yeah, it's
tough.
but it is like only like a little bit of a road trip. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
like,
not bad at all. But
yeah.
it's just like you only get.
It's a big. It's
What?
an expensive hobby too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
But now we have like a free place to stay in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
nuts. So you
yeah.
guys are gonna have access to
Yeah.
like some good stuff too.
Yeah,
We, I mean, shout out Mossy Oak. We got
hooked up.
hooked the fuck up.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But with like jackets, hoodies, pants, everything you need. And I wasn't cold at all out there.
Yeah, their stuff was great. I wore the jacket just today walking the dog. I
I
missed the rush of like getting ready to go hunt.
I think I'm going to go to the Bears game on December 23rd. So I anticipate it being like 0 degrees out. I'll wear all that shit
Yeah,
to the tailgate.
Yep.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed being out there in nature. Like that's the first time I've ever done anything like it. So it's
if I'm
such a
gonna
great change of
pick
pace.
an expensive hobby for the rest of my life, hunting or golf, I think I'm leaning hunting.
I would go hunting a million times over.
Yeah.
Golf's fine, but it's like
Yeah, but I don't hate golf.
No, I like
I
golf.
played probably 8-10 times, probably something like that this summer, which was a good amount for me, and I think I enjoy the hunting more.
That's good. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but until then, I guess just wrap up Wishfest coming up in 10 days.
Yep.
Wishfest. A lot of the White Sox fans who are listening to this, I'm sure you are well aware of what Wishfest is. Big event on the south side of Bourbon Street in Marionette Park. Unbelievable cancer charity concert. 100% of all ticket sales, food, drinks, merch sales, everything that is paid for the event goes directly to families that are dealing with cancer in their family. So they'll just cut different benefactors $5,000 checks and say, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. You can go to Italy. You can, pay off
It's a
student
great
loans.
charity.
It's unbelievable. It's Dan Wishar and the Wishar family. Like, they're the best people on earth. Tickets are on sale now, and they're selling out like they always do. We got OAR coming out this year. Randy Hauser. I'm not familiar with him too much, but
He
I know
had some
he's
great.
Running out of moonlight.
Yeah.
yeah, he's got some monster country hits. My guys from Philly, Foxtrot, and the Get Down are going to be out there. I'll be out there. I don't know who from Barstool, Chicago. I just anticipate.
I'll be out there.
Yeah,
try to make
multiple
it this
people will be out there. It's a complete shit show in the best way possible. Tickets you can get for $150 at most, as little as $45. Get the $150 ticket. It's all you can eat and drink. It all goes to different families experiencing, cancer within their family. So that's December 3rd. It's my favorite event of the winter. I look forward to it every year. $150 all you can eat and drink to go see an OAR concert for
awesome.
3 hours. You can't beat that. And on top of the cause, that's the cause is like the cherry on top. So December 3rd, be there, and I'll see you there. Chief will see you there. Ed, Carl, maybe see you there. But until then,
Cyber Monday.
yeah, Cyber Monday's coming up for Barstool.
Yeah. Black Friday. Cyber
Black
Monday.
Friday. I mixed the two up. They're all confusing to me.
But yeah, I think that's it. Barstool Chicago has a ton of sweet shit. The golf shit's awesome. So yeah, make sure you're checking that
Yeah,
out.
we got the ugly Christmas sweaters. Chief's wearing that. I still don't have those, but I want one.
Yeah, if we're watching on video, we have a bunch of stuff that we're selling.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 of us are wearing sweatshirts that will be sold. Carl and my hat will be on sale. Chief's pants as well. Unfortunately, Dave's Joe Pesci hat will not be on sale. But
Oh, I got this at Target, and I like this hat.
well, that's a nice
I
hat.
bought it because it was green, and I thought I'd be hunting in it, but we got hooked up with the actual camouflage show. But yeah, I can't wait for Wish Fest and
Good event.
everything coming up too. We got a lot on the horizon in the coming weeks. And the Barstool Bowl. Ed and I will be out to in Tucson for the Barstool Bowl over New Year's. So
Yeah.
I'll be watching Notre Dame in the playoff.
that's disgusting. It's disgusting to think about. Worst Notre Dame team I've seen in fucking a decade.
Yeah, they're not great, but they've gotten better. They're better than they were when we saw them play Wisconsin, that's for sure.
Happy Thanksgiving to our listeners. Thanks for supporting the show for all these years. All gas.
No breaks.
And DJ, play that shit.